As you know, March 29th is Iowa Flag Day, and the days leading up to it is actually Dixie Gebhardt Week as well. So we're kind of celebrating both today, and I think those are both important events to us here in Knoxville because that's where the Iowa flag was designed. And Dixie Gebhardt was a Knoxville resident, born and raised. So I appreciate you all coming here and showing that you care about Dixie and want to celebrate this contribution that this amazing woman in a time when being a woman and getting things done was a lot harder too, and that's kind of one of the things I admire about her. So I want to kind of kick this day off. We do have some snacks here. Feel free to grab any. We got some fruit and desserts. And then we do have this historical exhibit on the flag and Dixie Gebhardt as well. T is going to come up later and talk about Dixie and kind of provide some more context than why little tiny posters could fit on it. And then we do have a passport activity that will take you all around the city and actually across the state to check out places relevant to about Dixie Gebhardt and the flag, so you can kind of do a historical tour of Iowa. And then we do have some coloring pages and other activities for the young kids as well. So I do want to kind of thank the people again who's made this day possible. So I want to thank Marla Sutter with the Daughters of the American Revolution for getting the Governor's Proclamation and having her also declare March 29th in Iowa Code as Iowa Flag Day. This started becoming Iowa Flag Day in 1998, and the reason was the governor really wanted schools and cities and towns and individuals to reflect on our heritage and celebrate our history. So that's it's nice that that has continued on. That's been, almost 25 years now, because I was also born in 1998. And then I also want to thank Brian Hatch for being here and signing a proclamation for us as well to declare Iowa Flag Day on March 29th and Dixie Gebhardt Week here in Knoxville. So thank you, Mayor. I want to thank T. Waldman-Williams for contributing a lot of her time with me and kind of being a guide on putting this day together. I want to thank Matt Showers and Krista Willis with the Knoxville Middle School for helping Lainey and other students submit an essay to be a part of our finalists on what does the Iowa flag mean to me. Let's see, host, I want to thank a lot of people. I want to thank Chris Netsky with the city for helping put together some of the facilities, and the Marion County Board of Supervisors for allowing us to use this space. Representative Bowden and Brooke Bowden and Senator Garrett as well for sending well wishes today and being here with us in spirit. So with that, I kind of have a little agenda over there. We're going to try to stick to that as much as possible, but what we're going to do first is have the mayor come up and read us and sign a proclamation for this day, and then I'm going to have Lainey come up and read her essay, and then Tia is going to provide a little bit more context on the special day, and then I think that's everything. So, all right, let's get started. Mayor Hatch, would you like to come up?
Okay, well, first of all, I'll echo some of the same comments that she just made. Thank you for being here, and thank you to everyone involved in putting this together. I'm glad that we acknowledge it, and we do such a good job of celebrating this day because it is an important day, not only for Knoxville history, but all of Iowa. And so I'm glad that you guys have all taken the effort to make this an important day. So I'm happy to be here to help celebrate that. So thank you for having me. The Iowa State Flag Day Proclamation. Whereas March 29, 2023 marks the 102nd anniversary of the adoption of the Iowa State flag by the 39th Iowa General Assembly. And whereas Knoxville is known as the birthplace of the Iowa State flag. And whereas Dixie Cornell Gebhardt, the daughter of a Civil War veteran, was born on November 18, 1866 in Knoxville, lived most of her life in Iowa, and died in Knoxville on October 16, 1955. And whereas Dixie Gebhardt, while serving as state regent for the Iowa Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, designed the Iowa flag in 1917. And whereas the blue stripe of the banner stands for loyalty, justice, and truth, the broad white stripe for purity, and the red stripe for courage. And whereas the eagle carries blue streamers inscribed with our state motto, "Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain," thus combing our national symbol with our state motto. Now therefore, I, Brian Hatch, Mayor of the City of Knoxville, Iowa, do hereby proclaim March 29, 2023 as Iowa State Flag Day, and the week of March 26th through April 1st as Dixie Cornell Gebhardt Week.
All right, thank you, Mayor Hatch. And again, I would like to emphasize that we do have the governor's proclamation as well, so this has become something that happens across the state. So special to have here in Knoxville and statewide. Now I'd like to invite T. Waldman Williams, the author of My Name is Dixie, up on the stage to introduce and provide a little context about the essay contest that we've been hosting.
Thank you very much. Since 2021, when we had the 100th year anniversary, the committee got together and said, what else should we do that it's 100 years? And Marla Suter said, well, why don't we have an essay with 6th graders? And I said, great idea. So we put that together, and so in 2021, 2022, and 2023, we've had finalists, we've had semifinalists. And this year, I am just so very happy that we have Lainey Gillian, who is going to read her essay to you. It's quite different from ones that have previously been read because it provides a context of Dixie herself and where Dixie lived and that. And so I'm going to invite Lainey to come up. She is a 6th grader. So please help me welcome her as she comes on up and reads her essay.
Hello, my name is Lainey Gillian, and I would like to give a huge shout out to my grandpa Dennis Hopes and my grandma Diana Hopes and my dad Court Gillian. What does the flag mean to you? For me, it embodies the virtues of loyalty and patience. As a proud resident of Knoxville, Iowa, I feel a deep connection to our flag and its remarkable creator and designer, Dixie Gebhardt. Her unwavering dedication and tireless effort to design our flag are an inspiration to me. The flag's meaning of loyalty is exemplified by Dixie Gebhardt's unwavering commitment to her craft. She was loyal to anyone who sought to have a flag representing Iowa and refused to give up. Even faced with frustration and setbacks, her dedication and perseverance are the reason why we have a flag to call our own today. This essay is a tribute to her legacy, her willingness and ability to collaborate, and a reminder of the importance of recognizing her contributions. The flag also symbolizes patience, as evidenced by Dixie Gebhardt's meticulous work on the flag design. She took her time and paid close attention to every detail, resulting in a flag that has withstood the test of time. Her patience extended to the people who waited years for a flag, and for the people who didn't want the flag to change their mind. And she delivered a masterpiece that continues to be celebrated to this day. However, it pains me to hear that Dixie Gebhardt's house is set to be demolished. This is when she owned this house and worked tirelessly thinking and considering what the design would be. It seems unjust in a place of such historical significance. This is the only house in Iowa that is connected to the flag. We should honor Dixie's memory and location and let the house stand. Her spirit of resilience, kindness, strategizing, loyalty, and patience lives in that house, and we should not let it go unnoticed. In conclusion, the flag represents the best of Knoxville, Iowa, and Dixie Gebhardt's legacy. We owe it to her and ourselves to honor her memory and continue to celebrate the virtues of loyalty and patience that she embodied. The flag is more than a piece of cloth. It's a symbol of our shared history and values. That's what the flag means to me. Thank you.
When Lainey presented her essay, it was interesting that I saw a different something in her essay than I had ever seen in anybody else's. And that was quite touching for the review committee. Also thought that. So, Lainey, we have some prizes for you, okay? Yeah, what do you think? Let's see, and Cameron's going to do that for you.
I'll be the showgirl.
Okay, the showgirl. So, go ahead.
Okay, so we have a tote bag.
We have a tote bag.
We have a writing book.
We want you to even become a better writer, so we're giving you the 7th grade book. Okay.
We have T's book on.
Oh, yeah. Everybody should have one of those.
We have these nice shirts. Do you want to mention why they're
Those are from Walnut Hill Design, if anybody's interested, so are the hats, so you get a hat.
We're walking Walnut Hill Design Leadership Team today.
So on this is a journal that has your name on it and today's date, and so we would like to sign it before you leave, if that's okay, so we can get that, okay?
Okay.
And some pens, because we know the previous ones always like gel pens in a lot of different colors. And a flag, and that's the other thing. And what else? Oh, some cords, some koozies, and a gift certificate to Casey's. Okay?
And then we have the certificate as well for you. For
Oh, yes.
2023 finance.
But we still have to sign it. Yes. So what do you think? Did Lainey do a good job? Did she do a great job? So I want to thank you for your time and your energy and everything that you've done. Thank you. All right, I'm going to continue.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
good.
so let me give you a context. You know, Dixie always said she wanted to keep history straight. And the DAR actually started in 1911, 1912, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 to create and get people excited about having a flag. And it wasn't until she was the Iowa Society of the Daughters of American Revolution state regent that she actually put together the idea of having the past state regents say, we need to have a state flag. Now, they've done this since 1911, but it was Dixie who strategized and said, how can we really make this happen? So, and she said, I want to do this before our next annual meeting, which was going to be April 1917. So they put together a contest. Lou Prentice from Iowa City was actually the chair. And what she did was to get people from the Sons of the American Revolution as well as the Daughters to work together. Now they had also gone to Edgar Harlan, who was part of the Iowa Historical Society. And he had been working with the legislature since 1913 to actually put together a contest for a flag. And then they said, we need more money to do this. So they went from $500 to $1,000. And when they announced to Dixie that it was her design that won, she was, as she wrote, overwhelmed. She was just, she couldn't believe it. And she was sort of embarrassed, as you would be if you put together the committee and everything, and other people had put in for a flag. Well, what she did then, the next day, after everybody said, yay, Dixie, Lou Prentice went to the state legislature and said, we have a flag design. When can we get it before the legislature? And he says, you don't get to do the design. There's a committee that's doing that. And so you have no right to do this. It's up to the committee. Well, the committee included the governor and him, Harlan, as well as the adjunct, the general adjunct. And so what Harlan did was to actually send the legislature a letter and say, we ought to close down this commission, let somebody else do it who's creative, and we have no design to show you. So everybody was quite upset about that. And so what they did, because World War I had already been announced around April 6th or 9th, I can't remember, what they did was to go to the Defense Council. And they went to the Defense Council on May 11, 1917. And it was the Sons and the Daughters of the American Revolution. Dixie brought her design, and they said, this is the design that we suggest be on the flag for Iowa. And what the governor said was, this is it. And the whole council said yes. And if you read their minutes, it took them no time to say yes. And so she went, and they said, we'll make copies of, not make copies, but we'll get this flag made and we'll give it to the regiments, because we had people, the guards down in the in Mexico area and in Texas, who were guarding our borders because Mexicans were coming up and raiding Texas and New Mexico. So they wanted to have a flag, because in those days we had regiments, and regiments carried their own flag. And so this was going to be the flag. But I feel kind of like Dixie right now, because I had ordered an Iowa flag, and I had ordered little Iowa flags. And guess what didn't come today? My Iowa flags. And so we don't have one up here, so thankfully we have Dixie's. And I feel a little bit like that. And when she didn't get the flags to get to the regiments on time, what happened is that she said, I feel like a bride who didn't get her wedding dress on the day. And so that's, well, I don't look like a bride, but you know, I feel a little bit like that because I don't have the Iowa flag with me. And I am very proud about it. So there's a lot of things about Dixie that I didn't know even after I wrote the book until I went to the Marion County Historical Society. There are wonderful, Dixie wasn't a strategist. She had perseverance and resiliency, and she had the strategy and the loyalty, and she wrote everything down. She was meticulous about that. She kept a lot of information. And if you go to the Iowa Historical Museum and go to the Historical Society here, you'll be able to read the works that she actually wrote. Now, do we know exactly where she designed the flag? But how many of you have ever designed anything? Do you ever design it in one place? No. But what we do know is that she owned the house from 1909 until 1922. That was her house. And as Leo Landis said, who is the curator for the Historical Museum, said, this is the only house in Iowa that is associated with the flag. And so, you know, when I read your essay, Lanny, I was just so, you know, thrown that you had put that in there, and I thank you. So, Mayor Hatch has already talked about what the colors meant, and I thank you because I think that shows the history of it. Again, Dixie was all about keeping history straight. And I think that's what we're doing with this celebration. And so I want you to meet the illustrator of the book, which is Cindy Gordon, a very good friend of mine, and she's just going to talk briefly about her designing.
First of all, I read the book, and then as I was reading the book, her written manuscript for it was a book. I got ideas of what to paint from the text, and I've been an artist most of my life. I had two uncles that were art teachers, one up at ISU, and I always did stuff in pencil because you always had a paper and a pencil handy. So I did this one of Dixie, and I thought it would be a little too plain for the book because you had the black and white of the text. So I decided to go with watercolor. So this is the said building, the said house that's been mentioned, the Chamber of Commerce. I'm not sure if it's still there. And then I brought these two because this is the DAR logo. During that time, they sent me about 6 and let me choose what I thought was the best, the best design. And then the PEO, they would not let me use their logo. They said you can use a Marguerite Daisy and you could use the star. So I designed this. Their actual logo is over here under the adult life heading. But the funny thing that I found out is when I did these, we had to have their approval before we could even put them in the book. We had to have their approval of this design for both of these because they're national organizations. And so they had to approve all this before we could even enter them in the book. I had to do a little research for that. So that's all I have for here. But it was a pleasure to find out more about Dixie and the Iowa flag and to do the drawings for the book.
Well, thank you, Cindy. Thank you, T. Thank you, Lady. Thank you, Brian Hatch. I know that this is, you know, an important day, and I think talked about a little bit more in our community. But I think all of you coming here today is what really matters and shows that we are united as a community despite our different opinions. and I think we can look forward to the future of Knoxville, and we all want what's best for Knoxville. So I'm really glad that you guys were all able to show up and celebrate today, and Lainey for sharing your voice. My job is in youth voice and youth development now, and I think it's so important when we can hear young people and listen to them, and I always invite discussions of more young people to be brought into these conversations, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. I think that's everything for today, so please feel free to look around, read the exhibit, grab some snacks, and again, just thank you so much for being here, especially us being 2 volunteers who put this together. It really means a lot to me, so thank you so much. Have a good day.